This conception coexisted with the more primitive one, and one entirely unconnected with morality of the Shravarti. The souls of the dead who survive in the vicinity of the grave and remain in contact with the living. Zarathustra included some of these data in his doctrine, systemizing them, but not succeeding in giving them an entirely logical form. To begin with, he does not mention the Shravarti at all. This is easily understood. There was no room for them in a system where the fate of all human beings is decided in a clear-cut manner. Those who have chosen the side of Arta will be rewarded in the abode of light, where they will find good food, etc. The others, the followers of the Druj, will go to a dwelling of darkness, where they will find suffering, bad food, etc. Not in the shape of the Shravarti, indifferent to good and evil, will the human being meet the destiny of the righteous or the wicked, but as Irvan, soul, or Dana, conscience, inner intuition. The separation will be made by judgment of Ahura Mazda in the way in which divine preference traditionally manifests itself, by the ordeal of fire and molten metal. Where will this judgment of all men take place? At the entry to the bridge of the separator, which will, moreover, have to be crossed successfully afterwards. As if the division of the good and the wicked had not already been made. Obviously, Zarathustra has taken from the traditional mythology an accessory which was henceforth superfluous. Was he conscious of this doubling? We do not know, but in any case, he has not tried to eliminate the bridge in favor of the judgment by fire. On the contrary, he took care to give it the Zoroastrian stamp. Not only does he promise those who help him to cross with them the bridge of the separator, but this separator is as follows from Yasna 46:17. None other than Mazda himself, for the rest of the doctrine of life after death, that is essentially for the representation of bliss, the naturalization, has been developed in the same way in the sense of that the entities intervene in it. As this is equally the case with the apocalyptic doctrine, we must return to this for a moment before we finish with an outline of this role of the entities. Not everything is new in the idea, so specifically Zoroastrian, of an apocalypse or innovation of existence. As we have mentioned before, the Indo-Iranians, like many other peoples, knew a myth of the Golden Age. They also knew the conception of an abode of the blessed, which was reserved for the privileged, a land of the Pakegne, to which one had access without dying, and where one did not die. And they had a conception of the end of the world by conflagration. Zarathustra took up these conceptions, and where necessary dispossessed the figure of Yama, who was formerly the patron of the first two, and reviled him expressly. He then combined these conceptions into a picture, which as that of his own apocalypse. It will now be grasped how it is possible for very ancient features to exist side by side with the new traits of Zarathustra's conceptions concerning innovation as well as the afterlife. For example, one of the names which describe the abode of righteousness, the house of song, recalls as Soderblom has seen, the songs heard, according to RVX 135, and Yama's heaven. On the other hand, the entities play their part in these conceptions. This abode is often called the dwelling of Ahumana, and the pasture of Ahumana. Is also mentioned, and according to other passages, the reward of the righteous is to possess Vahumana himself, Shatra, also designates this paradise under the name of dominion of the good mind. Yasna 33:5. Or dominion of blessing. Yasna 28:9. The food of the blessed will be the pair of entities Har, Chatak, Archan, the second of which thus perpetuates as far as the Zoroastrian heaven. THZC. The old idea, and even the name of Ambrosia, Arta too, is present, but, as it were, the entrance to this dwelling, and in the shape of its associate, the fire, which is also the fire of Mazda. By this fire is the ordeal accomplished. 1. Only Armati appears to have no part in the apocalypse or in the afterlife.